Ahoy! Today we have multiple important changes to talk about. On one hand about the reflexive health potions and on the other hand regarding some gold related things. You may recall my video from recently where I talked about reflexive health potions and reflexive potions in general. These have now been announced to no longer make it into the game for now. Tiger Crane, one of the New World devs, responded to the feedback thread, which had 240 replies roughly at that point, saying, "Thanks for all the creative feedback on a mechanic we are testing in PTR." Possibly throwing a bit of shade there with the creative feedback considering how that thread escalated. We agree this feature isn't balanced well with combat strategy or ready to use in a live environment. We're taking this back to the drawing board with your feedback in mind and will test again in a future PTR. In my opinion, these are some very good news and many people responded positively to that. Obviously, some people were planning to make a lot of gold with this, so they may not be as happy about it. But I think for the balance of the game, of PvP especially, and for the fairness in terms of advantages that you can get through gold, it's much better for the game if the potions don't make it in their current state at least, and we'll see what they try with them later on. But that wasn't the only change that was announced today. Enwin, the community manager, also gave us various updates in how the gold balance in the game in general will be changed through a variety of mechanics. The reason they're giving for this is that they've seen significant increases in coin generation from the economy updates in July and October, and as a result, especially with the many returning players coming in, this has significantly impacted the world economies, and they see a need to balance the coin generation and breadth of rewarding activities back to a healthy balance. As of now, all the changes that I'm about to mention are not in the game yet. They're planned to be in the game, but they are currently on the PTR, so they're testing them first, so for now you can still make a little bit more gold or prepare for these changes. The first one is a nerf to lost sack of coins, which you can currently get from expeditions especially very easily, which drop 500 gold per bag. This is now being reduced to 250 gold or 250 coin, and on top of that they will no longer drop from elite chests or from expeditions, and instead only from corruption breaches or darkness breaches as they're calling them here. Keep in mind that these already have a limit of 2 per day. They didn't mention if you're gonna get them guaranteed from corruption breach caches now or if there's still just a chance to get them. Either way, while this maybe wasn't the most effective gold farm you can do, there's also a very easy and convenient bonus gold farm that you could do while doing other activities, and that is now no longer the case, so you'll have to more actively farm gold. But if your way of actively making gold is flipping things on the trading post, then think again, because that is getting a nerf too. The base trading post tax is increased from 2.5% to 5%, and this is something that is locked for all cities now, so you're gonna have to pay that rate. This obviously makes things like flipping a fair bit less profitable and can especially cut into profits when selling many of one cheaper thing. It'll also make people think twice when trying to sell very expensive stuff, and we'll probably see more activity in the trade chat instead. Last but not least, there's also another farming change that you can actually use to your advantage. Five-Head Survival Gaming talked about this one the other day already, is the reduction of tier 5 hide, iron hide, dropping from mobs, and this is reduced by roughly 50%. At the moment, iron hide is not worth very much, and I think this change is actually good. And even with the drop rate being reduced by 50%, you're now getting 20 ironhide instead of 40, so it's not like you're gonna suddenly not get any ironhide. I think ironhide will still be more available than the other tier 5 materials like ironwood, for example, or like orichalcum as well. So I personally don't think this is an issue in any way, and this will actually make ironhide a decent amount more valuable without suddenly massively inflating it. But those aren't all the changes coming to the game. The Musket also received a new set of nerfs that may once again possibly not be nerfs, but rather buffs. We'll talk about that in more detail tomorrow, so if you'd like to see that, please consider subscribing and clicking the bell. Also, a little heads up, some of the Twitch teams from the Return to Aeternum event have unlocked the final drop. So if you haven't gotten that yet, you need to watch one of them for 3 hours to unlock it. This one includes the Greatsword skin, which I'm sure a lot of you were waiting for. And on the topic of waiting for Greatswords, I will also be releasing my advanced Greatsword guide next week. So keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching, Duke Sloth, out.